Good morning. So today you join me in Chirk, near Wrexham, North Wales, for a guided walk around the grounds of the historic Chirk Castle. Enjoy. Okay, so these gates you see in front of us, these were once, well, they were the main gates into the castle. And they've actually been moved 3 times. They were commissioned by Richard Middleton in 1712. And they were built by, I think it's Robert Jackson, or Robert and Jackson, who were quite famous at the time. Say that the artwork on there is absolutely stunning. Yeah, and I've also seen more of their work. If you in Wrexham, at St Giles Church there's I wouldn't say similar, but gates on a really smaller scale. The entrance into that church. So as I say, they were moved 3 times, and this is where they live at the minute. So the gates, they incorporate, I don't know if you can see, there's lots of different fruits. It's all the kind of fruits that used to grow here, and it symbolises a lot of that, grapes and such. But there's one interesting thing, I don't know if you can see right at the very top. Can you see there's a red hand? Now, the story behind the red hand, there's several really, but the best one I think, the lord of the estate on his deathbed had 2 sons, and he challenged them into a horseback race around the estate, and the first one back to touch the gates would inherit the land. Now, one of the brothers was lagging behind badly, so he decided to cut off his hand and throw it at the gates, making him the winner. So that's the story I prefer. I think probably the real one goes back to something to do with sending soldiers over to Ireland, to Ulster, and then they become barons, and you're allowed to show the red hand. Well, I think that's right, but I definitely prefer the first story.
Good morning to you all. I'm a ranger, part-time ranger here, and I take the walk, which I've been doing for about a year now, so it's not too bad. And you're all from this area, I take it? Mould, yeah.
Liverpool,
yeah. Yeah, and have you been to Chirk Castle many times? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. The walk we're going to go on today, not too bad. There is a couple of little hills, nothing too strenuous. No one's got any injuries or anything like that. Don't put them back on that. No. So.
I've got a dodgy knee, but I think I should be okay.
I'm Alan.
Hugh.
Shane.
Richie,
Gordon. Michelle.
And the dog's name?
They won't answer to you anyway.
Well, welcome to Chirk Castle. And I won't take you down that bit there, but you can just make out the entrance there.
Oh, yes.
This is an ice house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is where they would have stored all their meat, their wine, their beer, and any food that they had to in there. It's 3 meters deep. This is called a burr. All right, not a burr as a bird, but it's called a burr. And this happens when a tree gets stressed. And you will see them on the estate, but they're not as big. This is the biggest one. This is over nearly a metre in width. But this wood here is really precious, and it's used to make the dashboards inside of Jaguars. All right.
Really?
They use this wood in here. The woodsmen use it to make dashboards and furniture, which they'll use it for as well. Very much alive is this sweet chestnut. Not native to Britain. It was brought here by the Romans, but they're now quite common in the UK because they were brought by the Romans over to here and planted, and they would have used the sweet chestnuts to ground down porridge, and they would have used that to eat, for their long marches and that sort of stuff. We don't use any fertilizers, so fungi, grows quite happily on, you know, poor nutrient soil, and that's where the walk will take you around that way, and they'll show you all the different species that we have. You know, to say that we have over, you know, 48 different species of fungi, 18 different species of waxcap. That's quite a lot for that field.
So, if you ever get the opportunity to go on one of the ranger guided walks, I would highly recommend it. This walk was free of charge and lasted around 90 minutes. Alan, our guide today, was highly knowledgeable, especially considering he is a volunteer and unpaid. Unfortunately, I didn't film much of the walk, but as I say, I would definitely recommend you to try one. Thanks again to Alan for today's tour. He's a total credit to Natural Trust. Thank you. So this is the view from in front of the castle, and apparently on a clear day you can see as far as Derbyshire, which has got to be, I don't know, 200 miles possibly. But yeah, stunning. Wow. So this is the gardens, and these were manicured or designed by Lady Margaret, I think in the 1950s, just after the Second World War, when she moved back into residence. And unfortunately the castle, which was fallen into a state of ruin, and they did the best to try and repair everything. It had been used during the Second World War for evacuees. That is some building, it really is. So you can see the views from the castle are absolutely stunning, as is the castle itself. Unfortunately it's just starting to rain, it's got a bit grey, but it's been beautiful this morning, so I can't complain. So look at this. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's thatched roof. It's some kind of sun house, I presume. So just coming into view now is the lead statue of Hercules on a stone plinth. But as you may have seen earlier in the video, the stone plinth it's on is not the original. So this is the plinth that Hercules originally stood on and was airlifted by a Chinook helicopter to its now position in the gardens. Because that's in Woodland, in Deer Park, and the statue's actually been moved 3 times. So originally it was with another statue. It was this Hercules and the other statue was Mars, and they're at the front of the castle. Then got split up and moved. Mars went into Mars Wood and has never been found. It's actually gone. And Hercules, as I say, was moved to Deer Wood, and then I think it was in 1770 it was moved to Deerwood. Sorry, yes, that's right. And then in 1983 it was moved by helicopter, a Chinook, to here. Wow, okay. It was made in 1720 by John van Nost. And it's Hercules, obviously. Look at this for a view. I think what I'll do, I'll put a voiceover now with the history of the castle on, because then I won't get anything wrong, hopefully. But I think you'll agree it's not a bad view, is it? The construction of Chirk Castle began around 1295 during the reign of Edward I in order to subdue the last princes of Wales. Built in an outcrop above the meeting point of rivers Dee and Ceiriog, the castle, with its imposing silhouette, was a brooding statement of English intent in these disputed lands. Chirk Castle was purchased by grocer, sugar trader and privateer Sir Thomas Middleton in 1595 and was inherited through the Middleton family line with over 700 years of history. And as the last castle from this period still lived in today, the castle has lavish interiors and a beautiful eclectic collection. The interior includes a 17th century long gallery, grand parade of 3 18th century staterooms with rich furniture, paintings and tapestries, the unique servants' hall, and the chapel music room furnished to display Chirk Castle's connections to the high society in the 1920s and 30s. The award-winning gardens cover 5.5 acres of manicured lawns, clipped yews, herbaceous borders, beautiful rose, shrub and rock gardens, and a wooded pleasure ground. Chirk Castle has over 480 acres of parkland for us to explore today. And that is a serious building. Apparently it was never breached, and you can see why. You can see it's unique, well not unique, but unusual to have round turrets, so they can have a 360 view of who's coming for miles and miles around. Okay, so there's a couple of buildings here. This one to our left, which is like a mock Tudor style, that was built in the early 1900s, I think it was about 1920 or 30. And it's actually a squash court, believe it or not. And then just here we've got a dovecot, which it never used to be where it is at the minute. And it housed pigeons and doves. It was actually moved brick by brick by hand from near to the castle down to here, which is no mean feat. The roof is not original, but apparently the National Trust has received funds to be able to restore the roof to how it originally would have been. Okay, so that was Chirk Castle and the Ranger Walk. Hope you enjoyed that. Very festive. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Cheers.